America is the new Rome. First and foremost, when they give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash, double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone, and blessings to the hopeful and sincere elect. And I just want to do a quick response video to this latest tweet that your guy Elon Musk said about America in representation of being the new Rome. He said, then who is Caesar? And the new Caesar, or the elected Caesar, is none other than your guy DJ Trump, man. You know, and AKA Nero. You know, he was the ancient Caesar in the time of Rome, around the 60s, 63rd, 63 something AD. You know, at that time period, he was ruling as the Caesar in ancient Rome, the pagan Roman Empire. You know, giving Jake hell, you tribes, you 12 tribes, but mainly of the southern kingdom, you Judah, Benjamin of Levi, the southern kingdom, the house, nation of Israel. And he basically, you know, conspired to take Jake down from then on, from that time period. And then you got this guy, Elon Musk. He's associating America with New Rome, or with Rome in general, which is that deadly wound that was healed, which the apostles and elders, a great millstone, been saying for the longest on the YouTube about how America is the new Rome, man, modern day Rome reincarnated, whose deadly wound was healed because it's prophesied in the scriptures that it was. So this is no coinky dink, and you know, funny enough, you got Edomites coming out and saying that America is a new representation of a new Rome, and this guy Elon Musk, because he knows history. He knows that, you know, everything is reincarnated, like it says in the scriptures, man. Ecclesiastes, the first chapter, there's nothing new under the sun, you know. So these kingdoms are being reincarnated, especially America, aka Babylon the Great, which is an amalgamation of all them ancient kingdoms, especially Rome, you know, with the law, statutes, and customs of ancient Rome, all rolled into one. And they called it Babylon the Great, which is called the land of confusion, or the city of confusion, which is America today. So Elon Musk, you know, is not making this up. America is the new Rome, but it's quantified in the scriptures, which I've been saying. The apostles and the elders of Great Most have been saying that America represents Rome for the longest, man, because of the way they set up their you know, their system, economically, financially, you know, the political parties, the plebeians, you know, which represents the Democrat Party, and then the plebeians, which represents the patricians, which represents the Republican Party, also prophesied in Revelations, the 13th chapter, about the little lamb, that had two horns, but spake as a dragon. And that word, the draconian legislation, that even goes back to ancient Rome. You know, the draconian austerity measures that the ancient Caesars used to put on the people in the time of austerity and all that, that goes back to ancient Rome. Those unrighteous decrees, which America is you know, using to this day. So this is no you know, this ain't made up, man. The reason why Elon Musk said this, because he knows history, man, and history is repeating itself right now. But these devils seem to think that this new Rome is not going to go down like ancient Rome did, because that's their mantra. They're saying that America is the new Rome, but it's not going to fall like ancient Rome did. Well, they got another thing coming, because this new Rome is going to get taken out by way of nuclear fire, man. It's going to get burnt to asunder. It's going to go into perdition. It's the eighth head that came up out of the seven, whose deadly wound was healed, you know, that came out of the bottomless pit, that shall go into perdition. The word perdition means destruction. So that's where these devils have got it wrong, because it says in Psalms 49 and 11 that their inward thought is that they're going to continue forever. It says, a culture critic left the comment that says, America was founded to be the true successor of ancient Rome. Yes, it was. That's facts. You know, it says, but most don't know how deep the parallels run. It says, from its grid plans to its constitution. Yeah, because everything that America represents is of ancient Rome, man. The customs, you know, the way they the lascivious behavior, the lewd acts, you know, all the Diddy parties and all that. That goes back to ancient Rome. All the orgies and all these different things, the kiddie fiddlers, the PDF files and all that. That goes back to the customs of Greco-Rome, man. And America represents Greco-Rome to the fullest, to the 10th power, man. You know, That's why they keep the same festivities and activities of ancient Rome, of orgies and so on and so forth, and all that filth and debauchery. Even in Pompeii, they was doing that shit. Mount Vesuvius, which that got burnt by way of a volcanic eruption, the ashes, because the customs of the Romans back then, do in Rome, do as the Romans do. The Lord destroyed Pompeii, man, because they was doing wicked, filthy acts. That's even in Romans, the first chapter, in the Bible, man, that Jake was partaking in. So this lines up with history, man, and it lines up with the prophecies in the scripture of America representing a new Rome. The only difference is this Rome is gonna get taken out by way of nuclear fire, man. It's not gonna stand the test of time. And even Apostle Elder Tahar talks about how the most kingdoms, to the extent of 250 years, that's the reign that they usually have. So this modern day Rome, which is America, in 2026 it will reach its limit of 250 years in rulership. And the Lord could cut the time short, because he said in the scriptures, for the elect's sake, he's going to cut the time short. So who knows, this time next year, this place is going to be under stubble and rubble, man. America's going to become a lake of fire and be destroyed. So, Babylon's not going to be healed, man. This new Rome is not going to last the test of time, man. It's going to be destroyed. So anyway, I just wanted to highlight that fact. And it makes sense, because who is the Caesar today? President Trump, man. And in the ancient world, 2,000 years ago, as I said, he was the ancient Caesar in the time of, the rebellions with Israel, man, against Jake. He was that Caesar back then, Caesar Nero, and he was putting hell on the tribes, man. He burnt down the city of Rome and blamed it on Israel, man. Blamed it on blamed it on the Jews, which is the southern kingdom today, So he was conspiring against us back then, and he's going to conspire when he gets back into office on January the 20th, man. What's his first mission in office is the migration situation. He wants to solve the migration situation problem, and he's saying that he wants to deport millions of Jakes, Israelites from the northern kingdom back over the border of Mexico. So he's going to be concentrating on the tribes all over again, and there's going to be all false flags, all the Abkeo type scenarios he's going to use to put hell on you tribes and put you asses in concentration camps to make you take that mark, a physical mark, which is known as the MOT to the B, man, the C-hip technology, mass implantations of the tribes, man, worldwide. This is what these devils want, because it's the agenda of the wicked elite. So, it's no coinky-dink that, the new Caesar at the moment is the elected guy, DJ Trump, and he's Nero in the reincarnation, man. When you check out the busks and all the ancient pictures and, paintings and so on and so forth of Caesar Nero in ancient Rome, it looks identical to, Trump in these younger ages, these younger years, So reincarnation, it exists. So this is more proof, as we've been saying for the longest, that America represents Rome, that deadly wound that was healed. So I'm just going to read one or two precepts and close out. Make this short and sweet. This is a Revelation 13. And let's jump up for a bit. It's verse 2, really. And verse 3, Slakia. And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death. So his deadly wound was healed. What's that talking about? That's talking about the pagan Roman Empire, because their deadly wound was healed after their span of rulership. But then Jake took over during the Holy Roman Empire, what they call the Byzantine Empire, in the late 90s, 6 ADs and all of that, which your guy Nerva and all that, which he was an Israelite Caesar. And Jake started to rule from Nerva all the way down, to the mid 14th, 15th century, man, AD, because that 1,000-year span Jake was ruling in throughout Europe, and Esau was kicked out, man. He was in the caves of the earth, in the Caucasus Mountains, man, grunting on all fours, being the wood wolves and all that, the wild man of the earth, the cave monkeys of the earth. They wasn't in power at that time during the Holy Roman Empire. Jake intercepted and took it over. So the deadly wound was healed during the time of the Renaissance, which is around the 15th century, the 1400s, mid 1400s, what they call the Renaissance, the rebirth, That's when the deadly wound of the pagan Roman Empire was healed and Esau came back into power. You know, all these different uh, popes and so on and so forth. It says, and the papacy. It says, and all the world wandered after the beast. Yeah. It says, and they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him? And that represents America to this day, you know, because they sit on top of the beast. And that structure of the beast system is all the European conglomerates that America basically runs basically a network through, you know, which are the 10 common markets that were set up during the pagan Roman Empire. You know, the same markets back then to these European nations, you know, the Spains, the Greeks, so on and so forth. Their representation of all these EU allies, European allies, and NATO allies that are set up the beast system today, which America sits on top of that beast, you know, as a scarlet colored harlot. It says, and there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 40 and 2 months. So these devils are still ruling to this day, and they're getting ready to be taken out. Let me jump down. Yeah. I'll read verse 11. It says, the beast from the earth, and this is going into the political part, is set up, which they called back then 2,000 years ago the Senate. And they got the same Senate type set up today in modern day Rome, which is America. You know, it says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. That represents the political party, the plebeians, the patricians, Democrats and Republicans today. That's the same setup from ancient Rome, the Senate and all of that. And they have elected members, what they call presidents, which they put into office, you know, which are modern day presidents are just ancient Caesars in the reincarnation, man. Your Bidens, your Trumps, the Bushes, those are ancient Caesars coming back in the reincarnation as the presidents of today. It says, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast, which represents who? The ancient pagan Roman Empire before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. Whose deadly wound was healed? The pagan Roman Empire, man, after it fell. And Jake took it over for 1,000 years. It was healed during the Renaissance period, during the 1400s. That's when these devils started to slowly but surely come back into power. So that's when these devils started to exercise the power of the first beast, which is that pagan Roman, you know, empire, basically, philosophies and so on and so forth. You know, it says, and he doeth great wonders, and that he maketh the first, and so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, which is all that, you know, that war type power that these devils have demonstrated throughout the years, you know, to show that they're the, you know, they're top nation on the earth. And that's why it tells you in Daniel's that, you know, that little horn represents America once again. It said it will be more stout than his fellows. I mean, it'll be looking down on all the other nations. That's why Esau has a representation of what the eagle, the bull-headed eagle, which is the you know, the basically the strongest bird in the heavens, out of all the fowls. That's like the most strongest and the most powerful bird in the heavens, man. And it looks down upon all its other its foes, basically, which represents America. They're proud and bold, you know, especially with their military and their weaponry of warfare, you know. So let me jump down. And this is all going into what? The MOT to the B system, which Trump and Elon Musk are a part of. You know, that's why, you know, Trump endorsed Elon Musk in the first place, because he's part of the whole Kabbalist agenda of pushing the MOT to the B around the four winds of the earth. And he's preparing the people to take a C-hip technology one way or another, man. This time next year, they're going to make mandates, Abu Ratazar, and push forth the mandatory chipping of people on the planet Earth. And you're not going to be able to buy or sell or take part in society in this new realm, you know, unless you're involved in this new financial structure, which is going to be a digital system and a digital financial system. That's part of the new Rome. That's part of the mark that they're setting up, a physical mark that they're going to implement in people's skin, under your right hand, your left hand, or on your forehead, man. And who's the head of the neural link, which is basically the brain C-hip technology being put in your forehead? Elon Musk. So that's why he said that America's new Rome. He did another tweet saying the Nouveau Order Securium not too long ago, when Trump, on November the 5th, basically, and November the 6th, when Trump was elected, to be president, he put on his Twitter page, Nouveau Order Securium. Why? Because he's part of the New World Order agenda. But people think he's supposed to be the herald for the freedom of speech because he bought Twitter. You people are stupid, man. You have no idea that all these people are Kabbalists, man. They're lesser luminaries working for the banking elite. They're the true kings and Caesars of the earth right now. The banking elite, the Rothschild family, and so on and so forth. Call them the underground kings, man, because they're trying to hide behind the scenes. It says Revelation 17, and I'll start from 1. It says the doom of Babylon, aka America, aka the new Rome, which Elon Musk is bragging about. It's going to be destroyed, man. It says, and there came out one of the 7 angels which had 7 vials and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will shew unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, which is, who's the great whore? America, which all these other nations have fornicated with and made their money with, like it tells you in verse 2. This is with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. Yeah, they've taken on their philosophies and so on and so forth, their financial monetary structures and so on and so forth, man. America impacts the world, man. They're the trendsetters. Anything America does, all these other nations want to follow, because that's that great merchant city. It says, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Exactly, put into that financial debt, bearing the debt of America through that petrodollar. It says so that's why it says in Jeremiah, they are drunken of a wine, and therefore the nations are mad. It says, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness. It says, and I saw a woman sit on a scarlet-coloured beast, full of the names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns, which represents who? America, sitting on that scarlet-coloured beast, which represents NATO and the EU. The European conglomerates that America's basically residing over. It says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet colour, and decked in gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication, which goes into the philosophies, all the lasciviousness and lewd behaviour, the alphabetism that the Esau promotes around the four winds of the earth, to make people go off in the name of so-called democracy, which we call demonocracy, because that's what it is, man. It says, and upon her forehead was the name written, Mystery Babylon. It's not a mystery no more, because we know, according to the prophecies, Babylon the Great represents America. It says, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. So that's why America's the head. They're the helm of all this wickedness, the mistress of witchcraft that's on the face of the earth, which all these nations are wondered after and follow. It says, and I saw a woman drunken with the blood of the saints, which who are the blood of the saints? The Israelites. It's no coinky all 12 tribes are where? Over there in the Americas. They was taken over there, captured over there in slavery. It says, and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahweh Shai, it says, and when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. So let me jump down, for sake of time.
Verse 8, it says, the beast that thou sawest was, just like it tells you in verse chapter 13, it says, and is not, it says, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. So this is America's final, destination. They think they're going to rule forever in this new Rome and all of that. That's futile. That's a vain imagination, because America's going to be destroyed. It said that it came out of the bottomless pit, which is Europe, during the Renaissance period, and shall go into
perdition. Means destruction. So America ain't got too much longer to rule upon the earth. The beast that was, that thou sawest, the ancient pagan Roman Empire, and is not, which got taken down for 1,000-year period, because Esau got basically kicked out of, Europe into the Caucasus Mountains, He was imprisoned, so to speak. It tells you in Revelation, the 20th chapter, you can read about that, how the Lord bound Satan, that old serpent, and the devil for 1,000 years. That was Esau Edom, the wild man. It says, and they didn't have any power at that time period, that 1,000 year time period, like the Byzantine Empire, as they call it, or the Holy Roman Empire, because Jake was ruling. It says, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. So that's when they came back into power during the Renaissance in Europe and go into perdition. It says, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names are not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. It says, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is, because it got revived, it got reincarnated. That's why this devil, Elon Musk, said America is New Rome, because he knows that in the history that Rome fell, but it came back during the pagan, during the Renaissance, and America is that representation of New Rome, the system, its laws, its statutes, its customs, man, its wicked credences and all of that, man. And the same wicked Caesars that were back then, they come back in a reincarnation as presidents now, you know. So this is not no made up situation, man. He's not making that tweet up. He's stating a factual fact, and it lines up with the scriptures, which the apostles and elders been saying for the longest, man. That America's not the Vatican, man. Babylon the Great is not the Vatican. The scriptures say that Babylon the Great will be a great merchant city, a great city, and that's talking about America, the merchant city. But everyone does business with America, man. Everyone wants pieces of America financially, Everyone slept with that whore, bedded that whore many a times. That's why a lot of these nations are going to be crying, like it tells you in the next chapter, Revelation 18, when America gets wiped off the face of the earth. A lot of these nations are going to be crying, man. They're going to be wailing because they're going to be able to make no more money, like China and all of that. Because China's the biggest, makers of American products, man. Everything America gets is made in China. Everything's been outsourced to them. So they're gonna be wailing like bitches when America gets put on fire, man. It says, and here is the mind which have wisdom, the 7 heads and 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth, and they are 7 kings. There are 7 kings. 5 are fallen and 1 is. Yeah, and you had these are part of the European conglomerates. You had Spain, you had France, you had the Greeks, you had German minor, German major, and the 1 is, which was Rome, which fell for a moment, and it says, and the other is not yet come, which represents who? Great Britain, because America was spawned out of Great Britain, man, from Great Britannia and all that. It says, and when he cometh, he must continue a short space, which is talking about Great Britain. It says, and the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th. So he came out of Great Britain, the 8th head that came up out of the 7, that little horn that it talks about in Daniel's the 7th chapter, from the 4th beast, that little horn, which represents America, says, and is of the 7, so and goeth into perdition. So once again, it's saying that the 8th head, which is America, that was spawned out of Great Britain, Great Britannia, is of the 7, the European conglomerates, the EU, so to speak. It says, and goeth into perdition. Yeah? And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast, which goes into the whole EEC, the European Economic Committee, which later was translated into the EU. So this is showing you the whole Roman Empire setup, basically. This is showing you the whole setup. These have one mind. What's the one mind? The New World Order. The agenda of the wicked elite. It says, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. The one mind is going into their New World Order. Their philosophies, man. A one world government and so on and so forth. That's what these devils want to set up. But as I said, these devils don't seem to understand that the scripture says they're going to go into perdition. They're not going to rule forever, man. That's a vain imagination, because the Lord is going to come. They're going to try and make war with the Lamb, like it tells you in the next verse, and the Lord's going to destroy them, man. They're going to be destroyed, man. They're going to be destroyed in a nuclear war, the war of Armageddon, and that's going to be the end of this Edomite Roman Empire once and for all. So America's not going to rule forever. The new Rome, as they're calling it, is not going to last the test of time. It's going to be a short, futile few seconds of rulership, man. Because the Lord said in Revelations 20:7 that they was going to come out of the bottomless pit and deceive the nations for a short season. Deceive the nations again, but it was going to be a short season, a short time to rule, and that 250-year span is just that time is just about reached, by 2026. So these devils are on they're on their tippy toes, man. They're on their last legs, basically. And even the 10 toes in Daniel's the second chapter, which represents the EU nations and all of that set up. Once again, the 10 toes, 5 that were weak and 5 that were strong, mixed with miry clay, which shall not cleave to one another. The Lord is the stone that's going to smite the 10 toes. The Yahweh Shai is going to be that stone, that great millstone, that stone that's cut out, without, cut without, and he's going to smite the image and destroy that Edomite system, man. He's going to destroy it by way of the nuclear missiles and with the chariots, what the white man calls UFOs or UAPs, which are the chariots of Israel. The Lord's going to smite the 10 toes, man, and destroy that whole system. This Roman system, which the word system just means a pit, a trap. So that's what's coming, man. I was going to read Jeremiah, the 51st chapter, about talking about, Babylon was healed, but Babylon should be healed, but, it's not going to be healed. Take balm for pain, because ultimately America's going to go into perdition, as I just read. The 8th head that came up out of the 7 shall go into perdition. So this guy, Elon Musk, yeah, he's factual on the fact that America represents New Rome. But America, just like ancient Rome fell, America's going to fall and New Rome's going to fall. It's just going to be a different type of destruction this time, man. It's going to be nuclear. So we'll see how these devils can deal with that, But, the Caesar Nero, a.k.a. DJ Trump, when he gets back into office, man, he's going to reveal them horns again upon you tribes, man, in the time of Jacob's trouble. He's going to show you why, he was, how he was in ancient Rome, how he represents Nero in the reincarnation. He's going to show you he's one of them top devils from back then. When he gets back into office, you tribes wait and see, because you wanted to herald this guy as a savior and put him in office, not knowing he's one of your number one nemesis, man. He's part of the number one enemy, the Edomites, that are trying to destroy you. So this is beautiful, man. So anyway, with that, to close out, give all praises and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rekachodash, Shalom to the hopeful and sincere elect.